cornered by Don Westman.
He weighed in at a rate 262.8 pounds. He comes to us with a record of 1 wins and no defeats. Ladies and gentlemen, I give to you Mr. Walker Madden! His opponent fighting out in the red corner. He weighed in at a rate 245.6 pounds. He is making his MMA.
Now, as we take a look at it here, Cody, we have to see at least a 3-inch reach advantage for Walker Madden, would you say?
Yeah, 3-inch reach advantage, probably a 4 or 5-inch height advantage, which does play a factor, in terms of leverage and you're punching up, and there's just different things that you deal with being the shorter fighter.
Sometimes, too, that length for those slick submission guys in jiu-jitsu, those lengthy limbs, those are a mother to deal with.
Absolutely, and guys that know how to use their length, guys that are efficient there, and he's been training for 5 years in jiu-jitsu. He's going to know how to use his leverage. He's going to know how to use his length. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out.
And both men are deadlocked on each other, meet in the center, no touching gloves. They are throwing leather right away, ladies and gentlemen. And a big overhand right, thrown and missed by Garcia.
So Garcia's pressuring, he's dictating, he's throwing all power. Once again, we see 100% power in all the strikes he's throwing. And a good level change. Shot to a single, and on the cage, we'll see how the wall work here, how the wall wrestling is here. Lucas is doing a great job of winning the head position, creating his frames, and he's able to come off using that head position. That head position is key. Look, he's still winning the head position here. He's going to want to work his frames to come off.
Now those knees, those are something that's going to play a factor, especially sometimes when, by no means do we mean this in a disrespectful way, but sometimes when the body's a little bit softer, those body shots just tend to have that much more of an effect.
Absolutely, and you're also talking about heavyweights who aren't, I don't know, but typically heavyweights aren't known for their cardio. So the more you work the body, the more you go to the body, you're going to be draining a gas tank that's already not full, so to speak. Big overhand.
Big overhand, but it was blocked by Walker Madden. It does appear that right underneath the right eye of Garcia, there's a little bit of redness. I can't tell if that was pre-existing or if that's been from the fight, but there is a mark.
Good
Stiff jab from Walker Madden.
There's a cut over the right eye of Garcia. That jab is landing all day for Walker.
Now, Walker Madden is standing really tall in these clinches. Would you like to see him drop his legs and his hips, just get that butt down a little bit to play a better head position battle?
Definitely. He needs to roll his head under the chin of Garcia. He's so tall, he can use his leverage here to really grind Garcia out. You can really, we call it cooking him. He can cook him on the fence here, make him carry his weight. Like you said, he weighed in at 262 pounds. He's not a small dude. Let's try to gas him out a little bit. Let's try to wear on him. Being in this position, he's losing this head position battle, and it's allowing Garcia to rest and then come off the cage.
How much unnecessary energy from the positioning battle that he's just not capitalizing on is Madden burning right now?
Well, all of it. He's in a dominant position, but he's not dominating because he's not winning the position correctly.
Double underhooks right now from Garcia. Now it's switched up over-under.
He's doing a good job of going to the body with those hooks, going to the body with those knees. Like I said, he's going to the well on this, and this is going to pay dividends in the second and third round.
Even though he's not in the best position or the most dominant position, and interesting, they were separated for a warning with a cage grab. However, there was not a point taken. Was that a mistake by the referee, Bobby Wambacher, here? That is supposed to be an automatic deduction. Otherwise, I would like to know why he separated him off of the fence.
Anyway, it is a new rule. Maybe he slipped his mind. I'm not sure because he has called it. Get the cut man busy on that cut of Garcia here.
That is actually Coach Drew Lawrence working everything by himself right now. Keep in mind, folks, that we're limited as far as cornermen and everything due to the COVID regulations. These fighters are typically used to having 2 to 3 cornermen, depending on where they're at on the card placement. They right now are only permitted 1 per the state of Colorado.
Yeah, and that's a big deal. That can really change the dynamic of a fight. When you're used to having your jiu-jitsu coach, your striking coach, your head coach, your strength and conditioning coach, your girlfriend, whoever, when you're used to having your whole team behind your back, it can be a shock when you don't have those people. You know, luckily, you got a guy who's 1-0 and then a debut, so maybe they're not used to that. It's not that big of a change. But we'll see later in the card how that might affect fighters.
Certainly. Now, the first time when you feel your own blood running down your face, can that be a factor in your psyche?
Absolutely, it can be a positive or negative. You know, guys see that? Walker again with that jab. He just needs to keep sticking that jab.
Strong
big
overhand,
right.
though, by Garcia. He's saying, I'm not done yet.
That wobbled him another, and he pulls guard. So it'll be interesting to see here. We know he's a jiu-jitsu guy. We know he's been training jiu-jitsu for 5 years. He pulled guard. You don't typically see that at heavyweight. It'll be interesting to see how that pays out for him.
He was looking to trap an arm right there. Looks like he's working to start toward a Williams guard. Now, the only thing is in an amateur bout, you only have 3 minutes to work. So sometimes sitting in guard and trying to set something up, it's not the best strategy in the world, simply for the time factor alone. When you have 5 minutes, and even 5 minutes sometimes for these super technical jiu-jitsu players, is not enough to complete that setup, just because of all the things that you mentioned. Cooking a guy, making him sit through a couple of positions to where you just wear him out, essentially, and then you finally get the kill. With only 3 minutes to work, not the best strategy sometimes.
Exactly. You know.
Oh, and we're seeing the setup for a triangle.
You got to get busy. If you're going to pull guard, you better be working. You better be transitioning submission to submission to submission, because whether you put yourself there or not, you're losing this round at this point.
And that's definitely something that, depending on who your judges are, is a major factor. Even if you're the guy who is more offensive from the bottom, he's thrown up a couple of sub attempts, he's trapped arms. You know, if you're the guy who's on the bottom, that just is optically not good for the judges, especially if they're not familiar with grappling.
Right, and especially for a 3-minute round. If you pull guard with maybe 30 seconds into the round, you've been on your back for 2.5 minutes, it's not a good look. You're probably not going to win the round unless you're super busy with your submissions, unless you're undeniable off your back. And right now, he's not putting that work. I like this.
Right there, and it
Get
got
up.
stuffed.
He needs to put his weight. He needs to put his weight on Garcia now. Good snap down. He needs to make him carry him and do damage here.
Now he's in a very good position. I would like to see him get that handcuff if he can. Get that opposite wrist control.
He needs to get his hooks in. He's high on the hips. He needs to settle back and keep striking here. He could finish the fight if he gets a hook in and just continues to strike. You know, Bobby's looking close. He could call the fight.
And referee Robbie Wambacher is right on top of the action, looking for the potential stoppage here.
Garcia's working. You know, he's defending himself. He's working up. I don't think these shots are doing a ton of damage, but at a certain point, it becomes volume, right? It becomes you're an amateur. We're not going to let you take so much damage that you're hurt long term. Bobby's looking really close. He's going to call it here.
And it is all over right there. I like to call that the Roy Nelson effect there, Cody. If you folks remember back there, the Ultimate Fighter has just rolled itself back out. The highest rated season of the Ultimate Fighter ever was the heavyweights in season 10. Roy Big Country Nelson talked about his strategy of just getting on top of someone and voluming them to death. Said, you know, I may not be hitting them with kill shots every time, but if I hit them with 15, 20 shots unanswered, then they're not intelligently defending themselves. And ultimately, what is the grounds for stoppage? Being able to intelligently defend yourself.
Exactly. You know, that's kind of what we were talking about. You need to cook on him. Use your weight. Put your weight on him. Earlier in the fight, we saw that he wasn't able to get the position. He wasn't able to put the leverage and the weight and just make him work through those positions. The minute he decided, I'm going to make you carry me through these positions, he was able to secure the finish.
And you have to love seeing the heart from each of these guys. You know, you don't, as you mentioned, you don't see a big heavyweight pulling guard all too often. And there was a couple of pretty significant submission attempts there. He only had an arm trapped a couple of times. He went to stuff the wrist at least twice for a triangle attempt. So we know that Garcia at least has worked on his ground game for some submission defense skills.
Yeah, definitely. You know, it was a super close fight. Garcia hurt him on the feet in the beginning of the second round, and that's why he pulled guard, right? That's why he went to that guard position. It was a tight, contested fight, and you know, now we got, you know, he's got that experience underneath him. He's felt the jiu-jitsu. He's felt all positions. He was on the feet. He was on the ground. He's been underneath. Now he has kind of an idea of what he needs to go work on.
100%. And hopefully he now gets to go enjoy himself a beautiful plate of Pueblo Mexican food. He listed that as his go-to victory meal. Cody, Pueblo, Colorado just happens to have the best Mexican food in the entire country. The green chili is second to none. That is the number one thing that I miss about home. And now we listen in to Walker Madden. And congratulations to Walker Madden and the Colorado Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu School. That concludes the preliminary card, folks. We are going to have